He came out of Cuba, not with cigars or sunshine, but with the ghost of kid chocolate in his bones. They all fought like dancers over there, but he didn't need to. He wore elegance like armor, smiling while he beat you. And when that right hand came, clenched, cruel, full of goodbye, it didn't knock you out. It buried you. Teofilo Stevenson Patterson Sr. came to Cuba from the English-speaking island of St. Vincent looking for work. He was hired as a carpenter at the United States Naval Base in Guantanamo Bay before working as a stevedore for an American-owned sugar mill company in a town called Delicias. Carrying heavy sacks of sugar on his back for less than $1 a day, the elder Stevenson raised a family of 5 children with Teofilo Jr., born in 1952. There are different stories on how Stevenson got into boxing. One story describes how Teofilo punched out a school teacher who spanked him with a ruler. When people learned that the 135-pound 12-year-old flattened a 180-pound teacher, they encouraged him to become a boxer. Another story is that a Soviet boxing coach saw Stevenson in a pickup basketball game and immediately steered him into the Cuban program. But Stevenson always had an interest in boxing because of his boyhood idol, Benny Paret. When Paret was killed in the ring, Stevenson said it gave him the inspiration to become a champion. He began his formal training at the Orbian Quesada boxing camp operated by the Cuban national coach Alcides Segarra. Stevenson was a tall and clumsy teenager nicknamed Bobo, which meant fool, by the older kids who teased him on a daily basis. But the teasing stopped when Stevenson won the national heavyweight title at the age of 17. Professional boxing was banned in Cuba after Castro rose to power in 1959, so Stevenson was limited to amateur competitions. In 1972, Stevenson arrived in Munich, Germany for the Olympics. He had an injured right hand but kept it a secret out of fear of being pulled out of the tournament. Once the games began, the Cuban showed no ill effects, winning his first bout before meeting American Dwayne Bobbick in the quarterfinals.
In the early moments, Bobbick is aggressive and stays even with Stevenson, who is said to be one of the strongest punchers to ever compete in the Olympic Games. Stevenson sends Bobbick to the canvas. Bobbick gets up. Later in the third round, Stevenson gives Bobbick a terrible beating. Bobbick goes down for the second time. The bout is stopped, and Stevenson goes on to win the gold medal.
Bobbick had defeated Stevenson by a decision a year earlier in the Pan American Games and was favored to repeat. The dominating performance over Bobbick became an omen of things to come whenever Stevenson faced an American. 2 weeks later, in a speech in Havana's Plaza de la Revolucion, Castro praised the gold medal winner for his refusal to sell out to professional promoters that he referred to as traffickers of bodies and souls. Stevenson became a national hero and a symbol of the Cuban Revolution. But Stevenson was a reluctant idol, once jogging through a Havana waterfront and being forced to hide from a large mob of children who wanted to get close to the country's greatest sports hero. 2 years after he returned from Munich with a gold medal, the Cuban government built 2 homes for Stevenson. He was also given 2 Soviet-made Lada sedans. In 1976, Stevenson was stopped by Soviet Igor Vysotsky, a man who had decisioned him 3 years earlier. But for the Olympic Games in Montreal, the Soviets entered Viktor Ivanov instead of Vysotsky, believing that Vysotsky's scar tissue made him vulnerable to cuts. Ivanov was eliminated early in the tournament while Stevenson demolished his foes. He knocked out American Big John Tate in the semifinals before facing Mircea Simon in the gold medal match.
That title in Havana, in his own city in Cuba, 2 years ago, and last year he added the Pan American Games gold medal to the Olympic and world titles. and now is within 3 minutes of making Olympic boxing history by being the first man successfully to defend the Olympic heavyweight boxing gold medal. Stevenson of Cuba and Simon of Romania in a very, very strange Olympic heavyweight fight. Little action in the first 2 rounds. Both men treated each other with very exaggerated respect, but one expects now to see it all happen. Oh, how about that? The first really good right hand, and from an unexpected quarter. And he's got him again. We're surely not in for the greatest upset of all time, are we? Never seen Stevenson this subdued. He's been known to have bad nights, but not in the Olympics. And it's just on the cards now that the judges could mark Simon as the winner here, as being the more aggressive in the last round, with very little having happened in the first 2. So what a very interesting turn of events. And this is certainly one of Stevenson's off nights with a vengeance. Oh, he's got it, right hand. Oh, as soon as one says that, he produces it. And he's staggering like a drunken man, as so many of Stevenson's opponents do, after one punch. Oh, and the towels come in from the Romanian corner. They don't want to see any more. Oh, that's amazing. That is truly amazing. It was going to be the fiasco contest of all time, and then suddenly Stevenson throws one left, one right. Thank you very much. Good night. Romania finished. What about that? Well, I don't know. That is extraordinary.
After winning the gold medal at the 1976 Olympics, someone asked Muhammad Ali what he thought of the power-punching Cuban. "Good amateur," Ali said. "I saw him get a little tired in round 3 against the last guy he fought. Imagine if he had to fight 15 hard rounds against bad people like me or George Foreman or Joe Frazier or Ken Norton, somebody who would put pressure on him." Ali was reportedly offered $12 million to face him, and Stevenson offered $2 million. "He needs money," Ali said. "He's real poor. If he's offered $2 million and don't take it, he's a damn fool. He's a Jamaican anyway. He's not a Cuban." But the gold medalist remained adamant in not turning pro. "I don't want to turn professional," Stevenson said. "When there were professional boxers in Cuba, they were treated like merchandise." Fidel Castro had Stevenson believing that professional fighters were mercenaries for hire. Keeping him in the amateur ranks where he flattened one fighter after another, he was used for propaganda. When Stevenson knocked out an American, it was made to seem like a victory for Castro's La Revolucion. But American promoters didn't stop trying to woo the Cuban. Don King enlisted the aid of Panamanian General Omar Torrijos to establish contact with Stevenson and the Cuban government. "The talks just fell apart," King said. "The main problem was that Stevenson just didn't want to be commercialized." King's adversary Bob Arum came closest, enlisting the aid of Jamaican promoter Lucien Chen. Chen proposed a bout against Leon Spinks, a fight card that would be attended by both Fidel Castro and Jimmy Carter. The Cubans then initially accepted a $1 million offer for 5 3-round exhibitions between Stevenson and Muhammad Ali, but nothing materialized. "I don't believe in professionalism," Stevenson said, "only in revolution. I tell these men from America that money means nothing to me." But the promoter's demand for Stevenson began to fade as he started showing signs of deterioration, particularly during a series of fights against American Jimmy Clark. The last bout of their series ended in controversy, with fingers pointed at Cuban referee Rogelio Santiago, who interrupted the bout numerous times, warning Clark of imaginary infractions.
"Take it right to him," Jimmy Clark said. Stevenson, upright with that long left that sets up that right. Stevenson. Always like a tiger. The crowd roaring at Jimmy getting in a quick combination. To me, based on all the previous times I've had him, Clark with a right after a left lead. But no question about it. Stevenson a commanding presence. A good right by Clark. And then a left just before the break. And Clark with another left. And he is taking it to Teofilo. That's Alfredo Toledo, the third man in the ring. Stevenson fists. So Clark has to combine his tactical advances with some degree of caution so as not to get tagged. We're about 2 minutes into the first round. There is blood on the upper lip of Stevenson. Apparently from his nose. Not from Jimmy Clark, so far as I can see. Now the crowd is really getting on Toledo. Clark must be sure that the referee doesn't undo his concentration, because Toledo is making a farce of this now. See. Blood on Clark. I'm trying to get a view of it. The fighter's back is to me. As soon as I can get a full-face view of Jimmy. Meantime, the crowd in a state of definite unrest over the antics of the referee. Wild one, and another one. That's what he must be careful of. You saw Stevenson answer with the right. My goodness, he's calling that a standing 8 count. There is blood coming out of Stevenson's nose. What is going on here? The referee is Alfredo Toledo. Apparently there is a cut over the eye. There's a face view, and as you can see, there doesn't seem to be any real damage there. There's the end of round 1. Crowd standing, giving Jimmy Clark an ovation. It's been a messy first round because of the referee. Sorting Jimmy Clark on. Round 2. Remarkable showing by this American team. If the Olympics take place in Moscow, we will have a team, clearly, of the caliber of the team at Montreal. May not win 5 gold medals, but they'll provide tremendous boxing shows. 30 seconds into round 2. Clark the aggressor in the first round, scoring with lefts and with rights. To the punch. Stevenson with the reach advantage, but not getting that left into Jimmy to set up his right, at least not up till now. Right there, Clark again on the exchange. Minute 10 seconds into round 2. He is charging points against Jimmy Clark for an alleged butt. People are now beginning to throw debris into the ring. This has to affect Clark's effectiveness. Now Toledo is stopping the action while he removes the debris. unfolding in the Bernard Taylor fight. It's been a beautiful competition. Brilliant for the most part. And now, if Clark is growingly frustrated, you can understand it. If his concentration is impaired, you can understand it. Stevenson now knows he's in a fight. Blood is again coming down from his nostrils. Clearly, Jimmy is the aggressor in every respect. Crowd roars, half mockingly, as Stevenson gets a call. That's right. That's the kind that usually puts away the opponent, but it didn't score. Jimmy carries with him his card, acknowledging his graduation and his Bachelor of Science degree. Very proud of what he's accomplished. He's a proud man. This is round 2. 20 seconds, as you can see. Counting down. Stevenson no longer has the look of the polished, graceful, great fighter that he was in 2 prior Olympiads. I'll be back. They sense the possibility of an upset by Jimmy Clark, the third and the last round. He has fought absolutely as the aggressor. He has not shown the slightest sign of fear. Quite the contrary, he's shown naught but confidence. Stevens has looked sluggish. Not the same fighter that we saw destroy Bobbick in Munich and John Tate at Montreal. But there's another round to go. Oh, he's really teeing off on Stevenson. He's bloodied Stevenson's nose. He's had a cut himself over his right eye. Alfredo Toledo, the referee from Cuba, has become in his own way the dominant figure in the match. Debris being thrown into the ring again. Repeatedly, he has cautioned Clark. He even took away points from him in the second round. Again, Toledo cautioning Clark about alleged bouts. Clark fighting as effectively as one would want, and more effectively than I would have believed against Stevenson with that past reputation. Jimmy beating Stevenson to the punch with the left throughout the fight. Stevenson with a quick left lead. Stevenson missing with his key blows. Clark getting in his own. Stevenson, if it goes the distance, the way Clark has fought, again, Toledo cautioning Clark, making a farce of this thing. Crowd booing incessantly now, booing the referee. Oh, there! He left himself open. The one thing Clark had to do, he had to be careful. Still dynamite in those Stevenson fists. He left himself open, and a quick combination, the left and right, put Jimmy down. The first knockdown in the fight, though there was a standing 8 count that didn't really seem worthy, at least to my observation. So Stevenson has shown us that he can still punch. Jimmy Clark going in to hold, to protect himself. Very much now on the defensive. The American team is rooting Clark on, led by Alex Ramos. It looks like Clark now will go the distance, though the tide of the fight turned with that knockdown here in the third and final round. Again, Toledo interfering with Clark in his concentration, producing frustration. The end of the bout is at hand. Oh, look at that crowd. Stevenson to them. Sarge Johnson and his aide telling Jimmy Clark how proud they are of him. And we'll be back. Well, they gave it to Stevenson, which I suppose could be argued on the basis, A, of the referee's antics, and B, the third round, when he did change the flow of the fight with that quick, sharp combination that knocked Jimmy Clark down.
By the time Stevenson arrived in Moscow for the 1980 Olympics, his aura of invincibility had diminished. Henry Cooper called Stevenson's opposition some of the worst he'd ever seen, while Sports Illustrated called the roster a quadrennial version of the Bum of the Month Club. Nonetheless, Stevenson's Moscow win matched Laszlo Papp's feat of 3 gold medals. After the 1980 Olympics, Stevenson began to experience a variety of troubles. He was involved in a car accident and injured his back. He also wedded a dance teacher named Mercedes and had to endure 4 years of a bad marriage. With his mother suffering from heart disease and his father battling cancer, all of these stressors began to affect his in-the-ring performances. Stevenson was clearly beaten several times, including a loss to Francesco Damiani, and he failed to qualify for the Cuban squad that went to the Pan American Games in Caracas, Venezuela. So Stevenson seemed ripe for the taking for American Olympic hopeful Tyrell Biggs in 1982.
Is underway. Biggs racing out to meet Stevenson, whose custom has been to lay back in the first round of any of these 3-round amateur bouts. 3 3-minute rounds. The white area on the gloves is the scoring area. The referee has the power to order standing counts if he feels a boxer has taken a severe enough blow. Good rules designed for the welfare of these fighters. Biggs has to be showing Stevenson respect here. A little tentative. Stevenson, as we suspected, laid back as always. Flicks a good left out. Missed with a second left. Jabbing more effectively now, trying to move around the ring a little better. Tyrell Biggs of Philadelphia. More effective jabbing from Biggs. Stevenson tends to lose early rounds because of inactivity. The action's sparse so far here in the first, but of the two, Biggs has scored repeatedly. He has the better of the action. It is not the force of the blow that counts in amateur boxing, but it's contact cleanly into the scoring zone. This bout might have taken place in Munich. It did not. Might have waited till the Olympics of Los Angeles. It's taking place here today in Reno as the capper to a U.S.-Cuba dual boxing meet. This crowd knows that either man could take the other out, and that's what they're looking for. But so far, Stevenson is in one short right. Biggs a couple of left hands plus his jabs. Nobody has been in danger so far. This is the round they test each other out. Action if Biggs can beat Stevenson. We'll give him a slight edge through round 1 as the second round is underway at the Convention Center here in Reno, Nevada. Biggs takes a body blow and winces with pain. The referee, Rodriguez from Venezuela, has pretty much left them alone in sharp contrast to previous bouts here today. Flicks the left jab out that connects on the nose of Stevenson. One punch could end it either way. The 6'5" heavyweights. Stevenson takes a chopping right, wading in with a soft right to the body. There's the jab coming through again for Tyrell Biggs. Young fighter from Philadelphia connects with the left that Stevenson walks into. Stevenson missing with his right hand. He's timing a lot of punches now. Biggs' quickness is paying off. He's looking more poised and confident as he goes along, but took a chopping right hand there from Stevenson. Stevenson put him down. Biggs trying to get some reserve energy. Bring himself together again, collect himself. surprised as he got in tight, mixed it with Stevenson. Hanging in now with a minute left in round 2. The power of Stevenson, even at almost 31, cannot be underestimated. He's still got that dynamite punch as Biggs found out. Biggs had this first round and into the second round the dominance in the fight, but now it is Stevenson coming on. And he's got Biggs backing up constantly as Biggs flicks the jab out. Stevenson missing with a combination. 30 seconds to go on the round. Stevenson wailing into the body with the right hand. Takes a left jab from Biggs. Those are all good scoring blows in amateur boxing. The force does not matter. In fact, the knockdown is simply a good, clean blow. It means nothing more than that. 15 seconds to go on the round. Biggs having trouble getting up. He's not going to be saved by the bell. It is all over. He does not make it. As I was about to say, he will survive. He did not. Half a second before the end of the round, with a 3-time Olympic gold medalist, 2-time world champion from Cuba, who still got it.
A year later, an American finally broke Stevenson's win streak against Team USA. He showed up out of shape at the North American Championships, getting out-hustled by American Craig Payne. Reporters now said that Stevenson looked 42, not 32. The communist countries boycotted the Olympics in Los Angeles in 1984, and it seemed like the Stevenson era was officially over. The pursuit of an unprecedented 4th gold medal was now out of the question. In 1986, Stevenson divorced, and he wasted little time in remarrying. When asked about his first wife, Stevenson said, "I don't even remember her name." Entering the World Championships in Reno, Stevenson wanted to underline what might have happened had he competed at the Olympic Games 2 years earlier. He believed that his advanced age was now an advantage. Biologically, all athletes are different, Stevenson said. Some athletes do well at a young age but lose their skills more quickly. Other athletes, as they grow older, lose skills at a much slower rate.
And they told the boxer, I think that Garcia's hurt now. And Stevenson feels this, he knows it, he comes into the stomach, left and right, he's got him, that's it. Through the wings, a beautiful right hand, right hook. And Garcia, I didn't expect this so soon in the second round, ladies and gentlemen. Watching Europa television, they told the boxer, we stopped it, and there's the winner, Stevenson.
The tournament was Stevenson's last hurrah. In 1987, he collided into a motorcyclist who was killed in the accident. Stevenson was charged and remained jailed for 3 days before being cleared of any wrongdoing, as the motorcycle rider was deemed as drunk. He retired officially in 1988 after Cuba decided not to participate in the Seoul Olympics. Stevenson remained on as a coach to other Cuban amateurs coming up the ranks, receiving the equivalent of $400 a month for the job. He spent his retirement enjoying West Indian-style barbecues and an open bottle of rum at every meal. Stevenson suffered a heart attack on June 11, 2012, dying at the age of 60. He remains one of only 3 boxers to win 3 Olympic gold medals, and he always remained proud of his decision to not turn professional. "What is $1 million?" Stevenson asked, "against 8 million Cubans who love me?"